Welcome to the video, lads and ladies. Today is part 4 of how to turbo your Honda Civic. Yeah! So here we got the pieced together eBay turbo kit on the D16y7 Honda Civic. All jokes aside, welcome back. Today we're gonna be starting with putting the vacuum lines on the wastegate. So we're gonna throw one of these little ports into the lower side of the wastegate because there's 2 holes. So the top one is for a boost gauge if you have it. Now I'm just gonna be running spring pressure. So we're just gonna throw this lower one in. And I think we're gonna tee into the fuel pressure regulator here. I did Teflon tape these. I don't know if they need to be Teflon taped. I just got into the habit of Teflon taping everything when I was doing oil lines in part 3. So with these eBay kits, there's been an abnormal amount of 13mm parts. Like this one's a 13mm, and every time I go for like a 12mm, and it's always a 13. Now I hope this doesn't screw in far enough to hit the diaphragm. That's another reason why I Teflon taped it, to kind of stick it out a little bit more against what it's screwing into. So, you know, that should be good because I don't want to hit that diaphragm. Next we're gonna throw this, what I'm gonna call a vacuum line on there. It's not actually a vacuum line. I think it's some sort of fuel line or something. It's very thick, but I don't have any actual vacuum lines. And I saw buddy Jared yesterday, and this is what he had and he gave me. So look at that, works perfect. Before we try to run this vacuum line to the fuel pressure regulator, I'm gonna try and run it down here to the turbo, because some people, I believe, run this line to this bolt right here. So we're just gonna screw that bolt out. I went ahead and loosened it with a 12mm already, and we'll see if my fitting fits in there. Same size, might actually be. Just rest this puppy over here for now. Oh, now you guys see why I had that on. You like my hair? No way it threads in there. This is for my wastegate for the upper part that would go to a boost gauge, but I'm gonna run this to my turbo actually, and then I can run my blow-off valve, which is gonna go either like somewhere here or here to the fuel pressure regulator, because it's not good to tee too many things off of one vacuum line. I tell you what we gonna do now. We're gonna flex this so-called vacuum line right up under here, and we're gonna stick it right on the old turbski. Oh, buddy, are you kidding me? You gotta be kidding me. Look at this. Thanks, Jared. That was a perfect size piece of pipe. That's all I need, baby. All right, I got a little bit chilly, so I threw the hat on, another jacket. But what I'm gonna do now, I know you guys have seen me cut a lot of pipe in the last few turbo build videos, but I have to cut 2 more pipes. So I have to cut this intercooler pipe, the last intercooler pipe I have to cut. So I'm gonna cut it right there and right there. And then like this one's gonna fit in there, as you just saw, from turbo to intercooler. And then the downpipe here, obviously you can see it pointing forward toward the intercooler. Your downpipe shouldn't be doing that. So we're gonna take it off, and I'm gonna slice it right here. Not on the weld this time, I learned that. It's harder to cut on the welds, so cut on the stainless steel instead. And cue that. There we go. One part of the intercooler piping. I'm gonna go zap up the other one, then we got the downpipe. Okie dokie, piping is cut, and these little ridges are in there so the intercooler couplers don't slip off. If you wanna know how to do these little bumps, it's free, and I'll put it in the video right here. Go check that one out. Oh yeah, and I forgot to say at the start of the video, we just crested 300 subscribers. Thank you guys so much. Number 300 was yesterday. It was James, a gentleman I met outside of Tim Hortons. He had an old Impreza like I used to have, and he had unequal length headers on it. So it had the Subi rumble. Most, like the naturally aspirated Subarus from 2002 and up have equal length headers. And his had the unequal lengths. He bought it like that, so it had the nice rumble. And I said I always wanted to do that when I had my 2007 Impreza. I just never did. Everybody talked me out of it, but you can find them on eBay for like $100. And they do crack and you got to weld them, but for that sound. Anyway, thank you guys so much. I'll post a video of James's car right here.
Okay, we'll see you later.
All right, take care, James. So good. See your rips it on the road up here. I'm just filming this car. Yeah, his name's James. He has the unequal length headers like I always wanted to do. And back to the piping. So, let's see if it fits here. It looks like I'm gonna have to take a little more off the one side. Yeah. Too long on this far side here where it hits the turbo. Okay, about another 3/4 of an inch, half an inch, I gotta take off. Time to finish up this downpipe now. I got it about half done. We're gonna go ahead and chop the rest here. I got this downpipe chopped again, and I have a tip for you guys. I want to say thank you to Junus for telling me this. When I did the first cut, I cut it right on a weld, and it took forever. Like, honestly, total time, about 4 hours. Actual cutting time, maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours. But, oh man, it was difficult. And this one, I just buzzed up in like 15 minutes. Still not super quick, but this one I didn't cut it on a weld like you should, and it cut a lot smoother. So if you buy an eBay downpipe and you have to flip it around, don't cut it on the welds, cut it on the stainless steel parts. So now we're gonna slap this downpipe flange on here, and then we're gonna see how the downpipe is gonna be mocked up. Okay, next we're gonna jump to, what's it called?
Are you asking me?
Felt. This piece of felt. So I just cut out a piece of felt. This intercooler pipe, as you can see, would be hitting on the frame here. So I'm just gonna throw this on. Kind of a choose your own storybook kind of move here. Is that where it hits? Oh, perfect. So we'll just lay it down right there, sticky it on. Doesn't stick very well. It's probably gonna fall off, but you know what? For now, at least it rests against there and kind of holds it on. Good. Next
If you're really good at this today.
is this wideband sensor we're installing. You're so far away, so I'm wondering if they can see it.
Oh, look,
So,
I can see myself.
If you saw that one sunshine backflip skiing video, this was revealed at the end. If you didn't, you're sleeping. You're sleeping on something. Anyway, we bought this in Airdrie on the way back from Banff, and the guy hooked it up for me how it should be. So it says here, power, what does that say? Quade, gauge, sensor, and analog output. Somebody gonna get hurt real bad. Okay, well, anyway, it should be pretty simple because it's plugged in already. I've actually been putting off doing this just because I don't like stringing wiring and doing wiring, but you know what? It's gotta be done, so we're gonna do it. Whoa! Step one is to determine where you want the gauge in your Honda Civic.
What does that show?
What did I even say? This is the AFR gauge, air-fuel ratio.
You probably did, I'm just dumb.
Okay, so we've determined that the air-fuel ratio gauge is gonna stick right in here, so I can have it on this clip, and then I can pop the wiring in through the back. So we're gonna pop this cover off. So this box, all I did is I went ahead and took the sensor wire out. So the sensor's right there. Go ahead and pan over there. So all we have here, it's actually really simple. All we have here is this wire that's gonna lead to our gauge, and then this wire is just for power. So this is actually gonna go into your fuse box down under here. Okay, so here's your main box here. We're gonna run the gauge wire up through here first, and it'll come out the top. Okay, I got my snaky tool here. These things are so handy. If you guys don't have one of these, it's a good investment if you work on cars a lot. Great for feeding wiring. Look at that, it's so easy. So this is what goes into our boost gauge, or sorry, our AFR gauge. The reason I plugged it in there is just because I'm gonna pull it to see how much wiring I need, and then the rest, look at that, it even just stays just like that. The rest we can just tie and tuck up in here. Ba-doing! Okay, so for the wiring, your red wire is your power. So what we're gonna do for the power is we're gonna put it into the fuse for the radio. So when the car is on, the radio has power, so this way the boost gauge or the AFR gauge will shut off when the vehicle shuts off and won't drain your power. So I looked at a wiring diagram and it's fuse number 28. If you have the same car as me, 1996 to 2000 Honda Civic, your switch for, or sorry, your fuse for the radio is number 28 here, and it's right next to number 29. Isn't in use on these cars, so that's how you can find it. It's right to the left of that is number 28. Got my special fuse pulling pliers here. Okay, this brings me back to the old days when I wired a sub up. I think I powered the sub through wires like this. I wonder if this is actually safe to do. This is a glow shift gauge, and on their website, this is how they recommended doing it. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna probably stick it around this fuse a little bit. We'll see if it's too fat to stick in just like that. Okay, next to this orange wire, we're gonna put it into 21. And number 21 is the right headlight. And I'm guessing what this one is gonna do is when your headlights go on, it's gonna dim the gauge just so that it's not super blindingly bright at night. That was a good idea. Hey, just jam shit in there. Okay, well, they're both kind of tight. All right, so now if you guys can see right up here, there is a bolt, and that's where we're gonna put our ground. Okay, we'll feed our ground wire through. Now before we start tucking wires, well, this yellow one, I believe this is to run your AFR sensor to your ECU. I think the guy when I bought it, he explained, but I can't really remember. So let's get the keys. All right, we'll see if we got power. So radio should come on here. And gauge should come on, but it's not. Okay, what I just did there is I realized I had it grounded to, obviously a metal nut, but it was grounded to a plastic piece. And that was probably my issue, so we will try and see if we have power now. No power still. What's going on? I hope this thing works and the guy didn't sell me a bum one. All right, guys, I had no idea what was going on with the wiring there. I thought the gauge might have been bad, that the guy sold me a bad gauge because it wouldn't light up. Turns out that the yellow wire is your constant power source. I've never seen that before, yellow being power. Normally red's always power, but red is ignition power, so that the gauge will come on when the ignition's on, but you need a constant power. So what I'm gonna do to find a constant power is use this light tester thing. So it clips on the negative terminal, and then when you hit the positive, it lights up. So we're gonna be using this in the car here, and we're gonna try and find a hot, what they call it on the forums, power source fuse here. So I was just touching here. So the first one I touched, fuse number 8 here, or 6, yeah, 6, is a hot one. See how it lights up? If you guys can see that, it's lighting up. That's with it touching it. And here's the ones that I did. So this one, number 28, is not hot, and number 21 is not hot. Anyway, since number 6 is hot, lights up, I am going to take it out, and that's going to be my constant power source. Okay, now it's plugged in. We'll see if it's still hot or if my wire disturbed it at all. Okay, good. Still hot. Okay, the gauge should work now. Oh, baby! Are you kidding me? You just gotta struggle a little bit, and man, that thing looks good. I've never had a gauge in my car before, an aftermarket gauge, so this is pretty hype right here. As you can see, it's an analog one. It'll show your AFRs from 10 to 20. Sweet. And when you turn the headlights on, it should dim. Oh, it just went off. Oh, there you go. That's the dim mode, so that's 30%. I was reading on their website. It gives you 30% light for the day mode. Sweet. How cool is that? I'm hyped right now. I got so excited there, I forgot we still have a sensor to wire. So let's get this thing wired in. All right, so I got the end of the wire here. And I'm just gonna stick it in through here, and I have that claw tool again. All right, so I grabbed hold of it. Now watch this, we got these 2 clips here. Okay, didn't even need 2, just needed the 1. But you clip the clip in here because I don't have big gorilla arms and I can't reach around, so watch this. Now it has stuck the clip open on the outside, and I can feed it in the way I want it here. All right, then no questions asked. It should just come on through. Might have to rotate it a bit. Should come through. Hopefully there's enough room. I already have a bunch of aftermarket wires jammed through this hole. There we go. Look at that. Woo! And then all you do is you find the one that says sensor right here, and you rotate it the right way and you plug it in. Boom. Back to the engine bay now. We'll drop our sensor down here. So I was under here a little earlier and I decided that this was gonna drop down just by the CV boot. So you know what? I'm just gonna hang it down here for right now. We'll just feed the rest of this wiring in. And then when my downpipe gets welded up, I'll pull it through exactly where I need it. But for now, I'm gonna pull some of this wiring inside the cab as much as I need, and I'm gonna zip tie it in there and clean it up. Forgot to say, but this glow shift AFR gauge was 100 bucks. And I just got all the wires all tucked up in here and tucked in the engine bay. All nicely run here with the clip right there. So if I need to take it out or switch sensors, it's really easy. Next thing to go in is this eBay boost gauge. And this was $16 shipped here. So pretty sweet. All right, let's unbox this thing. I've seen it already in here, but I don't think you guys have yet. So there we go. Boost gauge looking good. So it comes with some very, very thin vacuum line, just clear, some instructions, a tiny little T, holy that's small, and the money maker right here. Woo! Let me out of here, it says. There we are. Sweet little boost gauge. So it's got some wiring up here. I don't think I'm gonna wire it up because if I can't see boost at night, I don't really care. For now, I'm just gonna get it hooked up so I can see boost when we get it started. I want this thing to just be ghetto. So I'm gonna zip tie it right on the steering column here. And it's gonna be great. Yeah. I don't know if this is gonna work, but it looks pretty darn good right there. And I can see the tack and the boost at the same time, or the speedo and the boost. Okay, well I don't know what's gotten into me here. Sorry it's dark, my light just died. But I just want a really ghetto boost gauge, so I'm gonna drill a hole in the cluster here and see what happens. Oh yeah. Is it so wrong for a guy to want some boost right in his face. Okay, I'm thinking we throw one of these. Oh, these are the really tiny ones. They're not even big enough to fit around there? Wow. Okay, I need some bigger zip ties. Okay, basically here's the sitch. We're just gonna put this bracket on the back and then use some zip ties and just get it mounted real quick here. Essentially here, you just gonna wanna go back up through the hole you drilled. Stick that on there. Whoa, too hard. Okay, well, basically I just did the job of the wire cutter there. There we go, doesn't go too far forward now. Boom, that's all you need, baby. Wow. Woo! Check that out. My man. Installed by Jay Wheelie, baby. Doesn't get much better than that. Well, the supplied little hose over there was way too small. I couldn't even get it over the T. So this is some line I already had. I don't know if it's, I don't know what kind of line it is. It's clear, but I'm gonna use it as vacuum line. So we're gonna tee into the fuel pressure regulator right here. So what I'm gonna do is just slice it right here, I'm thinking. This is a very sharp razor blade. I'll try not to. Cut my fingers off. I didn't want to be too obnoxious there and cut my finger off. Whoa, camera. Whoa, relax. What's going on? Who talking to me? This is like the world's tiniest little T too. I hope, I did actually blow on it because it looks so small that I was wondering if air even passed through. This is just a little eBay special, so hopefully it works. Slap it on. This is kind of fun playing with hoses and stuff. This turbo build is so great because I've learned so much already. Obviously, I've had a few turbo vehicles before from the factory. They had turbos. I've never turboed a car myself, and man, do you learn a lot when you do this stuff yourself. Like, there's so many little things I picked up. I should write them all down, but it's great. Well, sometimes I'm a do before I think. I should have put this thing further down here on the vacuum line so it was closer because I don't have that much line. And I'm just wondering if it's gonna feed through the firewall. Camera died there. I was just basically saying that I don't know if I have enough line to make it up to the steering column there, but we'll find out. So we're gonna feed it through that same hole again that we just fed it through. So I'm gonna feed it through and then I'll meet you guys on the other side here. All right, here's the driver's view now. You guys saw how I routed the vacuum line through here. So vacuum line's now in the back of the boost gauge, and this is awesome. So my head is actually like right here, so I can see the speedometer good, I can see the tach good, boost gauge, fuel, and temp, and then the AFR, the wideband gauge. So this is awesome. I'm so happy for this. And the budget build too, like it's not gonna be crazy expensive. I was reflecting a lot today on this build and how much I've learned of everything to do with turbos. Like I said earlier, I've had 2 turbo cars before, but you don't learn everything. Like how, I didn't really understand boost before. I understand like turboed cars, they add more air. I didn't know how though, like I did know how in theory, but once, like when you play with the turbo in your hand and install it and have to know how everything works, you have a greater understanding. So I now know that the exhaust gases spin the cold or the hot side and how the exhaust gases enter and exit there. And now the compressed side, the compressor housing, I now understand vacuum on this side and boost on this side. So vacuum, most engines, well, naturally aspirated engines will suck air. So this is all your sucking air. And then this is the crossover at 0 into where you're boosting. And that's where that's the whole forced induction thing. It's so simple, but that's why it's called forced induction, is you're using your compressor housing to force air into your throttle body. And for some reason that just clicked for me today. Like, in theory, I've known all this a little bit at least, but it's really cool to have the hands-on experience and to do this for cheap. So it's nice to have a project car. Like, yes, it would be nice to mod this thing as well, but this thing I care about more, and I wouldn't do like a hack job boost gauge like this. I wouldn't just have certain things that I did on this and how budgeted it is too. So this thing is a great learning experience. So if it does blow up, I just wanted to tell you guys that this thing, like, in the future, like, I've been looking at pistons and rods and everything, and it'd be cool to go big horsepower, like 300-400 wheel, and it'd be a riot. But my main purpose of this car was to buy it to learn about everything it takes to turbo a car and just get more knowledge and hands-on experience instead of just reading forums or watching YouTube videos and going to car meets and talking about cars. I'd like to actually build them. So that is a little explanation on this car, and I'm having a great time doing this. I know all the time I don't have a smile on my face in the videos, but that's just because I'm focused, and certain things I've never done them before, like wiring a boost gauge or a wideband gauge. I've never done this before. So certain things, all my energy is going toward, like, okay, I'm going to make sure I'm doing this right. So anyway, that's all I got to say for tonight. Thank you guys for watching. Again, if you made it this far, that's awesome. And thank you for supporting. Thank you so much for 300 subscribers. That's a pretty big feat for me. I'm starting to feel like the channel's getting up there, and it's not just friends and family supporting anymore. Yeah, so that's all I got for part 4. Part 5 I'll put up here. And we'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching.